1, 2, 3, 4.
One, two, 1, 2. You are listening to the Online Time Fame Show, where we talk about fame as it relates to mass media. The transition from mass media to digital technology. Mass media was analog, mass media was television and radio and newspapers. Magazines can be included, print media, audio, radio media, and visual television media. And that comprised mass media. So the world has changed. Online Time Fame relates to digital technology and the way different media has allowed regular people, everyday people, as it would be said, to partake, to join, to participate in media as though it is mass media. Everything shifted from the major companies, from major networks. Newspapers were first print media, then radio, and then television. So now we're at mass media through digital technology, which is independent media, but also mass media participates. A lot of small companies became major companies through digital technology, and we talk about the relationship between fame, digital technology. Digital technology changed the nature of fame. Famous people got treated differently, celebrities moved differently, and the invention, the advent of the cellular telephone, digital technology, and the cell phone changed everything just in the last few years. In digital technology, when it comes to cell phones, became the camera. Now everyone has a camera, everyone's snapping pictures, so even the nature of fame is different because famous people were seen very seldom. We saw them on stage, we saw them on television, and in passing they might be seen. They weren't seen regularly, a celebrity wasn't seen everywhere, and celebrities were hiding away from everybody else. VIP sections, exclusive areas in restaurants which they could afford, because celebrity doesn't mean one has wealth. Because it was fame and fortune. Fame don't mean fortune. Just because someone is famous doesn't mean they have economics that goes with it. But many times because fame was generated through a system, institutions, and major companies, and these people worked with and worked for major companies, they weren't regular people. They weren't everyday hard-working people. They were hard-working, but they weren't the working class. They weren't the working class of people that we see every day, but they came from that. So it was just an extension of how the United States operates when you're talking about capitalism and opportunity. And there was a few opportunities to rise up for those that had talent, and they could be a part of mass media because it was the major companies, ABC, NBC, CBS. Those were the major networks in the beginning. So when you talk about the nature of technology, everything is different now with the celebrity and how it relates to fame. So that's what we're talking about here. This is fame and how it relates to the rest of the world and how fame changed, celebrity fame, and the way nothing was ever the same once fame changed to a digital format and it provided access. Because with access, there was less regulation in just how people communicated, because there were certain standards people followed, certain standards that people were expected to adhere to. And a lot of changes came from creativity when it came to music, especially. So hip-hop had a major influence on mass media. Mass media changed through hip-hop music, like today, with hip-hop being the largest genre in the world. In 1985, hip-hop was making major progress, but no one took it seriously that it would be a major force. But those who participated and listened to hip-hop, they had an idea that there was growth. And once the continued growth kept moving, there was no question that hip-hop was a permanent fixture in the music business. And that was seen early on, even when others didn't know. Hip-hop just took a place in the world that other people couldn't predict. But it was evident that it was there. So the influence of hip-hop, when we look at right now, fame today, and what fame became, Hip hop was a gateway that represented digital technology because it was a way to get in at the ground level in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, but yet it wasn't accepted by the entertainment industry. So the parallel to that is digital technology wasn't accepted, independent technology wasn't accepted by mainstream media. Mainstream media didn't recognize the World Wide Web. Once ways to make money were figured out, everything changed. But mass media being what it is, major corporations, they still wanted to control it. They wanted to dominate because they had the power to do so, which was the nature of capitalization and capitalizing on opportunities. So when major companies saw, oh, that's the next thing, that's what they do. They move on it. So when you're talking about mass media and fame, fame is still evolving. As I said, when the camera emerged on the cell phone, where everything was public on a constant basis, that changed the nature of fame, but that also catapulted regular people, independent media sources, and independent media figures to a higher place, to more notoriety, because it went from newspapers and magazines to independent blogging. And when the independent blogging came, that's when people could say something truly independently. Because even with magazines, when people look at major so-called music magazines, they couldn't say what they wanted to say because they were employees of a company, no matter how large or small that company was. Where independent journalists were considered people who went from freelancing at one magazine to another, but they still had to be known for writing something that magazine approved because the magazine's editor had final approval. So digital technology allowed people to be their own editor and give final approval and publish somewhere where everybody could have access to that information. And that's what the World Wide Web first represented. So when you're talking about online time fame, these people had online time fame. They were famous online right then and there for those who knew. And as their audience grew, their notoriety grew. So that was the difference. People said, well, if they're dealing with him, he must be something. And depending on how much that company invested, the venture might not work. That company could say, but we have faith in this individual and we're going to keep pushing. A lot of very popular shows, a lot of popular people did not do well in the beginning. And the public may not have taken to that individual or liked their projects. But the major corporation could say, we're going to stand behind this individual until they take off. Whatever they do, we're going to stand behind them. Some people got one opportunity and that was it. And they still may have gone to another level. They may not have made it where that digital technology allows people to be there. So the nature of fame changed just based on technology. So that's what this show is all about. Got a lot just being built and being done. So it's a little bit scattered right now and it's not clear and everything, but we just wanted to get the format established, to get everything set up. So apologies for that. This is the Online Time Fame Show. Peace.
1, 2, 3, 4.